What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. I'm Justin, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. We're back with another Comic Collector Origins. This is episode 35. Man, oh man, the time's been flying by. We're already wrapping up March here. It's kind of crazy. But this show's been great. If you guys are not familiar with Comic Collector Origins, it is about the community. I bring on guests each week and interview them about how they got started in this hobby, how they got involved in collecting, what their origin story is with going to comic conventions and so on and so forth. And I have to say, this has been such a great journey for me. To be able to meet so many different people and not only meet them, but really get in depth with understanding the background and the history and the knowledge of like what they bring to the table and what they bring to the community. So it's been a lot of fun, and I just want to take a moment to shout everybody out because thank you everyone who's been supporting the channel, supporting the show. It's been so much fun, and so yeah, appreciate all you guys. If you're just watching for the first time, welcome. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, make sure that you check out the description below because my guest information is down there. Speaking of my guest, I do want to introduce the gentleman that I'll be bringing on for today. He goes by the name James, aka Comics for Cheap, the number 4. And really excited to have James on. I've known James for a long time now. I feel like at least long time in terms of me being on social media for comic books, and especially just seeing people go live and do claim sales and streams like that. You may have seen James's logo before. I put that in the initial thumbnail here. James has been a very busy guy. I love and respect his hustle and his hard work that he puts into everything that he does for his store and for selling books, and in a way still is able to bring in the community as well as a place to hang out, which is kind of how I've gotten to know him over time. So let me bring James in here now, and then we'll say hello to the chat. What's going on, James?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro. How's your Saturday going?
Oh, it's going great, man. Just got back from a little bit of hunting already this morning, and yeah, just want to say thank you for having me on, and I appreciate the unnecessary illustrious intro that you gave me, making me sound better than I am. Dude, but yeah, man, I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome, dude. No, you deserve it, man. I really do. I respect your hustle, man. I respect the hard work you put into everything that you're doing, and I can see it's all driven by passion. So I think that's what stands out to me the most. So guys, if you're not following James, make sure you subscribe to his channel. James, congrats again on recently launching your channel. You've already surpassed my channel, just hit the 600 mark. So congrats on that, man.
Oh, wow. Well, we're at the same area then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just started in January because that's kind of when I launched more into a full-time thing. So yeah, January is when I started with YouTube, and we're at around the 600 mark, which is great.
Very cool, very cool. And obviously I know you're killing it over on Instagram. That's kind of been your home for a long time, right?
Yes.
Some of the things you're doing. So I did put your IG info down there as well in the description. So before we get into all the fun details, let's say a quick hello to the chat. We have 9 people hanging out right now. We got Travis TM Nerdy in the house. What's going on, brother? Station, man. Station. Let's see what was going to stay off YouTube to watch Invincible, but then see we're going live. So man, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day.
It's excellent, by the way. Loving it so far.
Nice. It's on my list. I haven't read the books, but I figure I'm just gonna jump into the show and see how it goes. We got Ben Affleck in the house. What's up, Ben? Welcome.
Oh, nice.
Backlog Brothers.
Ben Affleck's here.
We got Johnny Boy here.
Hey, John.
Just saw John earlier today doing his Saturday morning with the girls. Always good to see you. Whoa, the chat just jumped big time. We got Self Collector. Michael, what's up, man? Favorite part of the weekend. I appreciate that, dude. Really, really do.
Thank you.
Let's see. We got Missing Link in here. Station, what's up, brother? Thanks for stopping in. We got VP as well. Hey, all. We got let's see, we got some Spine Ticks in the house. Azor's Tiger. Eric, what's up, dude? I just got your package, by the way. The care package, man, just sent me a nice hookup, A-OK, and a shirt and everything. So
nice.
Appreciate you, Eric.
We also got Spine
yeah. got a brand, you got a brand. Mercy in the house all the way from Sweden. Good to see you, Mercy. Always appreciate you stopping in here. Ian Hoodrat Comics representing Team Nerd Herd. is in here as
I
well.
love that logo. That's awesome.
Dude, man, Ian is the
That
best,
is really
man.
cool.
He's a dope dude. I appreciate you swinging by, Ian. I know you said you were working all day, so I don't know if you'll be in and out, but I really appreciate you swinging by. I know he said he'll catch the replay for sure. Let's see what else we got here. We got Jan. Hello, Jan. Thanks for stopping in. I don't know if I know that Jan or if it's a different Jan.
I recognize the name.
I know a Jan 7, but he's
I
usually has
know.
a different name.
I know
A
AJ.
Jan. We got Raging Cajun Comics from California. What's going on, Raging? Always good to see you as well. We also got my man Desired Comics, Nigel, who was my guest last Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Good to see you. And also, Nigel's having this huge giveaway that's based around last Saturday's show. So if you guys missed that, go check it out on his Instagram. He's giving away slabs and other books. We're trying to get my video up to 300 views, trying to cross that mark of I think we're trying to go for like 700 for subscribers. Man, I would love if we could jump up to there overnight. That would be amazing. But good to see you. We also got my man Fable, my DC diehard fan, Fable, Station brother. And I think we're getting through everybody. All right, cool. So thank you all for taking the time to hang out. Copy 801, good to see you too. Again, if you guys are not following James, I put all his information in the description below. Comics for cheap. So with all that being said, we'll go back and forth with the chat. So guys, feel free to ask any questions. We'll highlight them. James, if you see anything in the chat that you want to address, feel free to kind of take it in that direction. Like we talked about before, this is just a casual conversation trying to get to know a little bit more about you and your hobby here, your origin story.
Okay.
So with that being said, let's start with the big question of where did it all start for you with this hobby as a whole? I mean, I imagine that, or let us know how old you were, what your environment looked like, and just some of the things you were collecting.
I was around 10 to 12, somewhere in that area. My dad had collected comic books, but never really passed on anything to me. His sisters actually threw out his whole collection, like the 70s, 80s, all that Bronze Age, Spider-Man, Hulk. You hear the story all the time. It actually happened to him. So he was unable to like pass anything down to me, but he had always kind of been into superheroes and gotten me like posters and books and stuff like that, like trades to read. And I remember I was just on that, like, just on the edge where like I didn't think toys were cool anymore. I had gotten a Toys R Us gift card, and we were at Toys R Us, and like I saw that one of those multi-packs, like the 50 packs of just random comics.
Yeah.
And it was like, it happened. It was like right on the money of how much my gift card was as far as, it's whatever it was. So I was like, that's what I want right there. And I remember my mom like trying to talk me out of it. She didn't want me to get into comic books. She's like, no, why don't you get a toy? Why don't you get a video game? I'll even, cover the rest of it off of the gift card or whatever. And I was like, nah, I really kind of want the comic books, because right on the front was this one right here, Torment 1 from McFarlane. And I was like, Spider-Man's my guy. I want it. I had that poster like hanging on my wall. I wanted to read the comic book to go along with it. So I was like, yeah, that's what I want. So try as she might, my mom couldn't stop me. And like from there I was hooked, but I had no idea that you could go to a shop week to week and get like the new comic books or whatever. So I was just picking up these like little packs of comics here and there. No one taught me anything about condition. They were just, they weren't bagged and boarded. They were thrown in like a suitcase. I read them till the covers fell off, man. Right. But from there, I mean, that was it until I was around like 17, 18 and leaving high school. And then I didn't get back into it until about 4 years ago. That's it. Yeah.
Wow. So that's how it's interesting, because and you mentioned 4 years ago. I'm curious, like, kind of what got that started, because I know a lot of people who I feel like just got back in anywhere between 2018 to really last year. And obviously the pandemic was a big thing for certain people to get in, but
I've noticed a huge influx of people, which is awesome. So for me, I was at this point now in my life, I was out in Greenville, North Carolina with Alexis. We had just moved in together. She was going to ECU to get her first master's degree. And like, I just remember one day, like I was working where I was working, and my good friend there, Chris, who I do a podcast with on my channel, he was just talking about some stuff that was going on in comics. I don't know how we even got on the conversation. And I was just like, Alexis, I want to go to a comic shop. Like, I want to go to a shop and let's go get some stuff. we end up going. The shop was okay. It was mostly a game shop that just had some modern stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what hooked me back in, man. Right around the time of Dark Knight's Metal, I think was happening. There was a big Marvel fresh start with Venom and Immortal Hulk and all that. That was kind of near when that happened too. So from there, I was reading those stories and getting back into it. But what really got it was then, I remember it was like Memorial Day weekend. We went to Raleigh to visit her dad. And Alexis was like, well, why don't we try to go to a shop here? You know, it could be different, could be better, whatever. And they were holding this huge Memorial Day sale, fill a long box for $40 or something like that.
Oh, nice.
And I went crazy. We ended up getting like 5 long boxes. It was like stupid. And so from there, I was like, well, now I have all these comics. You know, what am I going to do? So I just kind of started going through and saying, I want to keep these. Maybe I want to sell these in the future or whatever. And that's kind of what birthed the Instagram page, to be honest with you, was just that sale and that moment of taking home 5 long boxes for like $200. And I was just like, all right, let's we could probably do something with this.
For sure, man. My goodness, that's a lot of long boxes. It's more that kind of probably covers my collection right now with what I have. We got Chamorro in the house. What's going on, Chamorro? Also saw in here. I want to say a quick hello to Steve. Hip Hops and me also representing Team Nerd Herd. Good to see you, Steve, as always. And my man Martin. Oh, man, the chat jumping. I lost Martin. I don't know where. Martin NYC, he's in here too somewhere. Here he is, Martin Besa.
Hey,
good
Marty.
to see you, Martin. Thanks for stopping in, man. So yeah, that's incredible. I mean, that amount of long boxes, you know, for sure. And did you know at that time, you know, did you know anything about like the value of certain books? Were you,
so
did
I
you
knew
have any apps out
bit.
or anything that you were researching?
No, definitely no apps, no nothing like that.
Right.
It was more I was loading it up with stuff that I was interested from the from before. Mostly Marvel, a little bit of DC, but it was just so unbelievable. I guess they had just bought a shop, or they like bought out a shop or something, or they just bought a huge collection. They were running the sale, and like it was crazy. There was like nobody there. I remember that. Like it was me and Alexis and maybe like 5 to 10 other people, and it was crazy. Like the stuff that I was pulling, they probably did that sale and then never did that sale again. They realized what just happened. But like it was crazy, the stuff I was getting, like full sets of like certain parts of the run of Amazing Spider-Man and Hulk, and there's like all this stuff. And but at the time I didn't know like, oh, this book goes for this, oh, this book oh, that's the first appearance of this. Because for me, that was never really part of what I did growing up with the books, collecting the book first. It was just, I like this character.
Right. You were just trying to read whatever you could get your hands on as a kid. That makes sense. So what was it for you? Let's go back for a second then. You mentioned Spider-Man. Spider-Man was like one of your first character loves, right? So what was it about? Was Spider-Man your number one at that time when you were first initially reading comics? Were you also into the TV shows or movies or anything like that growing up?
So even the first movie I remember watching was with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. That was like the first comic book movie. But yeah, it was always, I don't know what it was about Spider-Man. I mean, I guess they did a really good job making him one of the most relatable kids that, you know, becomes a superhero, and all the real world problems that he has to deal with. And looking back on him now, it's like, oh yeah, you know, we were all that emo, depressed kid growing up. So yeah, I mean, I think that's the part that drew me to it. And he was really, that was especially like young teenager. That was all I wanted to read was Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah, I know there were like the 90s, right? Cartoons that they had at one point too. I remember catching those for a little bit.
Going back and watching those is always fun. Because I remember I had some of them on like VHS, dude. Like I had some of those. Yeah, like I was. Oh man,
brings you back, right? Brings you back. I wanted to do that with the X-Men, the '90s X-Men series. I just started watching, so they put all that stuff's over on Disney Plus now.
Yes. Yeah, I was watching through it when it first dropped. I felt like a kid, like I was eating cereal on Saturday morning, watching Disney Plus cartoons. I was like, is it 1995 again? I mean, this is amazing.
Exactly. Let's see. We got Next to Perfect is in here. What's going on?
What's up, Stacy?
showed some restraint with 5, James, talking about
Yeah,
your 5
well,
home runs.
now I would have just gone in and bought the whole shop. I would just gone
Right.
in and been like, all right, wrap it up. Let's go.
Let's see. We got Southern Comic Geek in the house. What's up, Jason? Good to see you as
Hey.
well. Guys, make sure you are subbed up to James. I put all his information in the description below.
Appreciate it.
Over on YouTube and on Instagram. So speaking of YouTube and Instagram, let's talk about Instagram first. So
Okay.
you mentioned, about 4 years ago, you got back into the hobby.
Yes.
What was it that encouraged you to create an account? And then, right, and did you know about or were you? Let's just start with that. What encouraged you to start a comic book?
So the birth of the Instagram account, I was at the gym. I know it was summertime, and I was just like thinking about how to if I were to go about selling. There's the obvious, right? There's eBay. But I had always heard of the problems with eBay, people scamming and just whatever, like the fees associated with it, everything like that. And so I was just like, I wonder if there's any other way. And I was like, there's Facebook Marketplace. I didn't even think of Instagram wasn't even something that I thought of as a contender. I was like, there's Mercari, there's, Offer Up or Let Go or whatever it's called, and Facebook. And I was just like, And the person who actually kind of just sparked the idea was freaking Comic Tom. And I remember watching a YouTube video of him talking about people selling comics on Instagram, and I was like, Instagram, okay. And so I went and checked, and I started searching for comic book related hashtags and stuff, and started finding it's nothing like like it is now, man. But it was. There were a few people who were selling books, like Panel Punks, I think, was on there. Flipmo Comics was around back then. Justin was around back then, Comic Talks. And I was like, okay. So I just started following them on my personal account, which doesn't exist anymore. So don't try to find it. I was just like, okay, well, now I need a name. I need to come up with something. Yeah. And Comics for Cheap was the first thing I thought of. And I was like, no, I can't go with the first thing I think of, right? I got to brainstorm it out. Alexis and I sat down. We were trying to think of something more clever or funnier or whatever. And we just couldn't beat Comics for Cheap. It was it felt like it rolled off the tongue well. It was it just seems like a good thing. And I was like, all right, well, let's at least change how it's spelled a little bit so people searching for it will know it's me and not just Comics for Cheap. And so that's it, man. Next day, I picked it as the @ handle and went from there.
Damn. And I think you're over 5,000 or 6,000 followers, I think, right? Something like that.
Somewhere in that area, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I see. Jason is saying, I was watching James on YouTube the other day, and I had to watch a video before I could watch. I was like, dang, this dude is already at 1,000 subs. Yeah, man, you're growing pretty fast.
No, I'm not at 1,000 yet. It shouldn't be. If they're advertising stuff on there, then I'm not getting any of that. So
that's right. You shouldn't have to watch another video.
Yeah, I shouldn't be advertised yet. But hey, whatever. it is what it is. YouTube is YouTube.
yeah, really. So did you know that there was this? I mean, I guess you mentioned Comic Tom. He was somebody that had talked about the idea that people were starting to get on board with Instagram as a place to buy books, sell books. Did you know though that there was this community that you would really come to meet? Because I imagine you made a lot of close friends now throughout these couple of years.
Definitely have. I had no idea, man. I had no clue everyone was so close knit, which is so it's my favorite part of doing this. And like I said, I mean, it was just I barely even knew who Comic Tom was. He was very young on the scene too, and I think that everyone it's so different now. It's everyone loves to hate people now, but at the time, everyone loved him. It was just he was kind of king of YouTube as for comics, as I think that he should be. He does a great job. He's got a great hustle. And I had an idea. He was doing these things where he was sending out the freebies, karma books, where people would send him stuff to send out, basically, right?
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah,
okay, so I came up with this idea when I was loaded drunk out of my mind, and I was like, what would be really funny is because everyone loves this guy, if I came out and I was like, I hate this guy. And like
Oh,
I'm just like a villain to this dude. Like he's like, you know, the superhero of the comic world on YouTube. And I just come in and I'm just like, you know, I come in like the dang dude from Powerpuff Girls, the evil laughing like
yeah.
right. So I sent him a whole bunch of stuff that I had found that for like really cheap. That was some pretty good stuff. Number one issues for modern stuff, like all sorts of stuff, and sent him with him like this almost like ransom demand style letter introducing myself as his villain and like all this stuff. And he read it live and they had a good time.
Oh,
And like
wow.
my followers jumped insanely after that. I was like,
Yeah.
what had just
Wow.
happened? So people really like that. That's why I re-nicknamed myself the comic villain and became that, incorporated that more as part of my brand. And I'm glad that I did it. A lot of people met me through that. So I did it I think one or two more times after that, where I sent him some karma things and letters, and he always thought it was really funny and enjoyed it. So I was like, okay, if I can entertain him, then screw it.
Yeah, totally, man. And you made it fun. You made it a fun way to kind of go about it. And
Yes.
you know, I'm glad that they took it and had fun with it too. So and speaking of your stuff, I have your shirt on here, so I want to give a brief shout out to the new shirt that you sent me not too long ago. And there's the Stay Villainous down here at the bottom. You can't really see it, but there you go. So there's the Stay Villainous. I love the whole branding that you have set up for yourself here with this.
Thank you.
It's a lot of fun. We got Planet in the house. What's up, Planet? I saw, who else did I see in here? I wanted to say a quick hello to Ruben Guzman in the house. What's up, man? Cowabunga. Guys, make sure you are following James and hit that thumbs up while you're at it as well. So like I said, I mean, I've seen you. I feel like you're certainly one of the first that I think I discovered on Instagram, where it came to, you know, selling books live, the way you do your live Instagram streams and things like that. And the funny thing too about it is I feel like I had hung out with you or watching your stuff for a long time, and yet I didn't buy anything up until like last year or something of the sort. But I've always interacted. I've always, like, you know, seen your stuff. And I was at that time still just newer to buying books in general. But yeah, I feel like you really set the mark in a lot of ways for Instagram anyways, man. Because you know, a lot of people are doing it now. See a lot of different channels that are, you know, kind of, you know, having their own stuff to push or whatever. But I think
it's awesome. Yeah,
totally. Absolutely. And what you mentioned before too about the pandemic, bringing people in, you know, that this is a time where, I mean, obviously it's a very negative time, but for comic books, being able to see the industry kind of grow, or the hobby kind of grow, is always nice to see. That, you know, it's brought a lot of us together. And probably if we didn't have this, like you and I, like the way we're doing this now, probably might not even be going down, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
So these types of virtual hangouts are very helpful. And obviously, you know, hopefully meet up at a con at some point. Once, I know we were talking a little bit about cons before.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah,
I really,
yeah.
I try to meet as many people when I'm going to these things now as possible. We almost make it like an advertisement to come hang out with us and like just chill. So the last few that we've gone to, we've ended up doing that. So we met Ian Iron Lion, who we had known on Instagram for a while, which was really awesome. Now he's hanging out with us a lot more. Tyler, TM Comics, that's how we met. Dusty, rest in peace to Sales to Astonish, when he was hanging out with us. D, same thing, rest in peace to D, and he was hanging out with us right at the beginning too. So I mean, the Comic Cons is just a great way to meet people and be able to, like, you know, hang out and have some fun. Go back to the hotel suite and you know, have a few drinks, chill out for a minute, talk about comics that we got. We're always really excited about what we had just bought and everything. Yep. And then put on a show at that night and sell some books and make a little money, pay for the hotel, pay for the trip, put a little money in our pocket to go home, and that's how we're able to go to a different city almost every weekend now. I mean, it's crazy.
That is awesome, man. And these, it's only going to get better. I mean, when things start to really open up, like you're saying, like going back to hotels and hanging out with people, just wait till like the after con dinners that like we're gonna have large groups, because we're all gonna be hanging out at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like all of us are gonna go, especially the really big Comic Cons. Like, you know, it's gonna be a bunch of us. We're gonna have like a dinner for 30, and it's just gonna be
that's like, what we did at that's what we did C2E2, what we nicknamed the last con on earth. And yeah, because that's like one of the, like you were saying, destination con, where all sorts of people from that whole area travel to Chicago to go to it. And I met so many great people there, man. Like that was a lot of fun. And we did exactly like you said. We had like a huge lunch with a bunch of people, and then we had like a huge. We don't really do dinner because it's so close to showtime, but we still brought people back and just to hang out and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was a blast.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be even during the shows. I just picture like large groups of people like in circles or hanging out together, and
yeah,
and it all has to do with Instagram. I feel like Instagram, the community there, the community here on YouTube, it's brought everybody together in a way that we have these close relationships now. It's not just strangers per se,
right?
So it's cool. What's going on, Sheena? We got Sheena in the house, and also wanted to say hello to Hyper Combo Comics as well. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for stopping in. I thought we had a question. And the chat keeps jumping. We got Morbius on. Morbius is going live for the first time on his YouTube channel today at 7. Make sure you guys check that out.
That's exciting.
Yeah, he's launching for the first time. He said, Planet here says it would be cool. It'd be really cool to bump into you guys at a con. Same for a ton of people I've been introduced to recently. Yeah, it's been 100%.
And I always announce where I'm going about a week ahead of time too. So there's no surprise about where I'm going to be. If you want to come say hi. I've been recognized. What the crazy part is, I've been recognized at the last 5 shows I've gone to just from people walking around, which is awesome. Like an unreal feeling for like someone to turn around and be like, I knew that voice, or like something like that. And which is just crazy. It's mind blowing because obviously the dealers will start to recognize me after a while. Sure. And they'll know who I am just because, I'm coming in and spending money. And but it's just different for another comic lover to turn around and be like, oh, I know this guy.
Totally,
man. It's so cool.
What we were talking about before this show here, where you said you went out when you were hunting, somebody recognized your shirt, right?
Someone, I was at this guy's house. He put on a little mini show, I guess, at his house, but it was just like a little private thing. Yeah. And someone was like, hey, I know that logo, the shirt that I'm wearing, the near mint as you know what. So he's like, hey man, I recognize that logo. I was like, oh cool. And he was like, yeah, I think I've seen them around on Instagram. I was like, yeah, that's me. I'm the guy. It's me. I'm the guy.
You gotta put your face on Instagram more, man. People can put one too.
I'm trying to get people to follow me.
Oh man.
That's not the way to do it.
I want to say hello to Michael as well. Mr. Benston, hello. Thanks for stopping in, man. Always appreciate your support. So with that, let's talk a little bit about some of the comic books that you're currently reading right now. Are there any, are you reading anything that's like current new releases, or are you reading some old stuff, or anything at all, or nothing right now?
I am not reading any current stuff right now. Anything current that I'm going to start reading a little more often, I think, is because I do want to read some more stuff, but I really want to read indie books more than anything. And I generally wait for the trade to come out, and I do it that way. So I'll get the trade. Me and my buddy Dave are thinking about doing exactly. We're thinking about doing like a little indie book club thing on YouTube where we talk about stuff. So his favorite is Invincibles. So he's trying to get me into reading Invincibles. I just need to pick up a trade for that. But yeah, like I just finished reading The Boys. Want to get into I actually have some stuff here. So The Boys, Middle West from Scotty Young. And then I went back on like the Marvel app is where I do a lot of my reading. So I reread Legend of the Blue Marvel recently. Planet Hulk and World War Hulk was a recent one. Secret Wars was a recent one that I read. So I'm like to go back and visit some of the older stories. And then the newer ones, it's like, I'll read some of the indies, but I'm just not as grabbed, I guess, by some of the story arcs right now from Marvel and DC.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're not alone there with kind of those type of feelings towards the big two right now. I think that I'll for sure I'm a Marvel guy, but I love the indie stuff that's coming out right now. And sure. I will admit, and I talked about this before, I am exploring some DC stuff. DC did just relaunch some things, so some stuff so far that I've read anyways is pretty good, and I think worth exploring. But overall, like you're saying, like there's so many classic stuff to go back and read that it's like. I mean, you
can't possibly read everything. Like no one can just read everything. So there's always going to be, hey, this is a cool little run of books. I see you guys reading the like the Claremont X-Men run. Every week you guys have an episode about that, which is awesome. I've been following along with that, and just following along with that, I've been catching up on X-Men and like all these X-Men stories, which is great. I'm just like, well, dang, I could just tune in, once a week, and all of a sudden I'm caught up on a whole bunch of X-Men that I haven't read in a long time. So I mean, just like little things like that is always a lot of fun. There's also a YouTube channel I like to put on when I'm bagging and boarding, that Comics Explained guy.
Oh, he's good. Yeah.
So
a lot of things. Yeah.
I'll just put one of his, like, I'll find one that's like an hour long or whatever, and click, and I just start bagging and boarding. And when I'm done, I'm like, dang, I just listened to a whole story, like 10 years of comics was just it's absorbed into my brain.
It's like the Matrix. It's just like
you're downloading
all the knowledge. Yeah. It's so great.
This community. Oh yeah, go ahead.
What's up, Teddy? No, I just want to say hello, Ted.
But the community doing stuff like that, like with you guys making videos like that, I know a lot of other people do the indie books or like books to look out for. I know AR Comics does like new books every week. It makes it so much easier, man, to have that knowledge. Because like I said, growing up, I didn't know what to collect. I just was reading. So now it's like we have people, like, that's what they do, is tell you, like, here's what a storyline you should go for, here's a storyline you shouldn't go for, or here's what's going on in this run right here. So it's really cool.
Convenient for sure. I wanted to ask you too, like, or we're talking about books. Do you have one or two like special books that you want to show off today that means something special to you? It's
so silly, but I really love this book because it's the first comic book that I ever read or bought. Yep. And recently I got the with the McFarlane signing when he was at CGC. I guess it wasn't that recent anymore, 18 months ago. I sent in a whole bunch of stuff, but this one is going to be my keep forever because it's the Torment 1 silver and 9.8 signed. Hey, I do have some other books that I can't say that I would never sell, but they do, like, they're big milestone books almost for my collecting career. So Hulk 180, I didn't pull it out or anything, but Hulk 180 was the first book over $500 that I got. So I bought a 7.0 for $500 and cracked it, cleaned it, pressed it. Got a 7.5 back. Nice. And just kind of tucked it away. So now that one's going for insane amounts, I know, but that's just one of my milestone ones. So I just kind of tucked it away.
Yeah.
Silver Surfer with Fantastic 448 was the first one over $1,000 that I bought. So same kind of thing. I got it, cleaned it, pressed it, got it graded, tucked it away. But like those little books, it's more about like it's a milestone for collecting or like value wise, I guess. It's because, like, look where I got just from moving some dollar books type of thing for me. So that's why they mean a little more.
Totally. Yeah, that's and I love especially that first book that you showed, like the just the extra specialness to you, and that was one of the first things that really got you involved with it. I always appreciate those kind of stories, especially just because it's your story. Like, no one else is going to have that relationship to that book,
right?
That what you have. So I certainly have a couple of those, and I think that's more and more what I find when I'm buying these books is I almost prefer to have like this special story that goes along with the book more so than just owning a book for the sake of owning the book.
And that's funny that, like, back when we were doing cons and stuff, we would purposely buy stuff if the artist was there so that they could sign it, not for not to grab CGC and have them witness or anything. It was just like, for example, we ran into Joe Giella at Heroes Con, and we were like, oh my god, it's Joe Giella. We bought posters. I still have like a signed poster of his on my wall. And then we're like, well, now we need to go buy some Joe Giella books and have him sign it, because he told us some awesome stories like about Bob Kane and like just growing up and doing it from like the beginning. I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. So we purposely went and found some covers that he had done, brought them to him. He signed them. He was like, are you sure you don't want to grab CGC? I'm like, no, just sign them to, sign it. And those are the things I tucked away. And then in Atlanta, ran into Ron Lim, he's the nicest guy. Ron Lim and his wife were both like the sweetest people on earth, and got some stuff signed from him. And then Gary Conway was also there, and we ended up getting some stuff signed from him. And it was like just those little things where you get to talk to the guy for a little while. Yeah. It's not even about slabbing it up or anything. Just I want to have your signature on a book. I put on the backboard, the date the con, everything like that, and
I
then
love
just
that.
kind of put it away so that, I can go back and look and be like, hey, I remember going to shows when shows happened.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right though. The memories, man. It's the memories.
Yeah.
And I do the same thing. I write wherever I buy the book, I write down like the information about the book. If it's if it's a key, I'll write it down. It's a key.
Sure.
But then I'll write down the date that I acquired it, the place that I bought it from, and again, as you're saying, kind of those things that you can look back and be like, oh, I remember this, or I remember I met this person. You can kind of like add that kind of stuff to it.
Yeah.
So when you're 60, 70 years old, you can look back and have a laugh. All the crazy things you've done. But no, it's very cool, man. It's very cool. I wanted to ask you a little bit about some of your personal stuff going on with kind of where the hobby stands with you right now, because obviously it started out as you were a fan, you were reading, you were collecting, and then slowly turned that into a degree of business. And you started obviously selling books and so on and so forth. First, I want to say I feel like there are times that sellers get a bad rep, especially Instagram, any platform. And I just want to note this, that one of the things I truly respect and like about you is that, and you even put this out there on your YouTube channel. You broke down your system of how you essentially make a profit on comic books, and it's in a respectable way. And what I'm getting at here is there are a lot of people out there who sell books and they will, really jack up the prices on individual books. They'll, buy them for fair market value and then try to sell them for like marked up 50% more than that or whatever. And everybody has the right to sell for whatever they want to sell for.
Of course.
But what I like about a lot of the things that you're posting, and I check out a lot of your stuff, is that the majority of things are things that you found for a great deal, undervalue, in which then you're just selling for just enough to make a profit. I know that you kind of broke this down, and we don't have to go into all those details, but I just wanted to note that, for anyone's watching or that maybe they're new to, getting into buying online or anything like that, there are really good sellers out there, and respectable sellers, and you are one of them.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Just the pricing and things like that. So do you want to talk a little bit about that? Like, I mean, I know we talked about you're full time now and doing
full time.
So how did that come about? Yeah.
So I worked for a retail company that rhymes with Schmetschmart. Well, I don't know how much trash we're going to talk about them. I worked for them for about 5 years. I started as a part-time stalker, worked my way up to second in the store, everything like that. So I was making some really good money with PetSmart. The pandemic happened, and some higher ups lost their jobs, and they brought in some new people, and these new people, for lack of a better way to say it, they just messed with us hardcore. Like, it was just, they screwed us over from to the point where the store leader retired, who had been there for 20 years. Like, he was like, screw this, I'm out. They brought in a new store leader who was super excited. He just got promoted from number 2 at another store to store leader. He didn't last more than 2 months. He was like, screw this, I'm out. And at that point, we were still out in Greenville. I was like, maybe if I move to a different district, they'll stop messing with me so hard. I moved out to Charlotte with Alexis. She landed a great job in Charlotte. So we're like, hey, this all works out. Perfect. Let's go. And it didn't stop, dude. It just continued. It's the same BS from retail. So right before Christmas, they decided to put me on COVID leave for no reason. They never tested me. It was never... it was the stupidest thing, but they basically said you had to go home 3 weeks, no pay. And I was like, no, I don't actually. You forget that I am a number 2 here. So I know all of the HR law and everything like that. Sure. And they still tried. So I was like, well, you're going to pay me out sick time and vacation time. And then I quit after that. So after the 3 weeks, I was like, all right, let's do this. But I wouldn't have done it if I wasn't already so solid on Instagram.
Sure.
Like I was. Which took a lot of time. A lot of these new people will come up to me or message me, and I'm always happy to message back and help out as much as I can. But they're like, man, I just ran my first claim sale, and I don't know how you get everyone to claim so fast, or how you get so much participation. And it's like, man, my first claim sale, I did not get any participation. I sold a few books. I made $5 and was happy. And it was constant grinding, day, every single day. I'm looking for books, I'm hunting for books, I'm posting them, rinse, wash, repeat, right? So, and for years before I hit 1,000 followers, before, and then it's kind of snowballs once you start getting bigger. But like, it was a while before I even bought my first like real collection, and like at least a year. And then from there, again, it snowballs. You start to flip that, and you can get better and better.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just, I don't even know where I'm going with this anymore.
Yeah, no,
But
no.
so
Just how you got started.
for as far as selling,
Yeah.
but then you're able to be in a position where you can buy in bulk, which is always better, right? You need to find the spots where it's like fill a long box, like the first store, fill a long box for $40, fill a long box for $150, or whatever it is. You can go in there and pick. Because I hate buying collections. I don't know about other people get so excited. Oh, I bought a collection. That for me is like, it's so much work, and it's just usually
like
so much garbage in those collections. And then it's like, you got to worry, is it bagged and boarded? Is it alphabetized at all? Is there any sense to this collection? Or am I going to sit here for a week to try to move these dollar books because they couldn't move them, right? That's essentially what it is. You got to think about that. Why are they selling it as a collection? Because they couldn't move it. So for me, I'd rather go to someone who just bought a collection and cherry pick for a much higher price per box than it is to buy the collection outright. And that's what I do. And then, if it ends up being around 50 cents a book, if I figure if I sell it at $1 a book, I'm good, because I just doubled my money. Like, I don't need to get ridiculous and greedy. Obviously some stuff, $2, $3, $5, for usually what I do is, anything that goes up to like $3, I'll put in my dollar bin. Anything that goes up to $6, $2 bins. Up to $9, $3. 10 and over, 10 to 15 in my $5 bin. And, from there, I kind of go prices marked. And if I run an auction, I'll start it low and people can pay whatever the heck they want. That's kind of a little more out of my control, because it's what you want to pay at that point.
Yeah, it's what the
so yeah, that's how I'm able to.
So it's been like 3 months, right? I mean, essentially, since you've really taken off, or being full time.
Yes, it was right after Christmas. Yeah, and when the pay time lasted me till mid-January or whatever, and it's been great, man. Like, I wake up every day, I'm a lot happier, I'm a lot healthier. I don't have like a boss yelling at me for no reason. I can choose who my customers are, which is a fantastic thing. Just the block button, man, is my best friend. It's like, you would be surprised what the block list is up to. And I'm sure people block me too, but like the block list is so high, and you're like, dang, and you still have all those followers,
right.
But it's just, it's a wonderful thing.
That's great, man. John here saying, watching the growth in the Comics for Cheaps and Comic Talks brand was cool. James and Justin put the work in and make it fun to be there, to be in the chats. I am a Nearman fan for life.
Yes,
it's spot on, John. There, I totally agree with you. And it's interesting that James, that you bring up what you said about people messaging you trying to get kind of advice, or like. They don't see the work, or they didn't see the work necessarily that you had put in for years, day in and day out, and grinding it out, doing these live streams, week after week. Not everybody sees that.
And that was with the job. So it was like, so I was like working 40 hours and then coming home and working 40 hours. So it was definitely a rewarding hustle for sure. I've met, like we said, we met so many people. I had no idea it was such a close-knit community, and to be accepted by the community and get to grow with them has been fantastic. Justin and I, we have our own kind of like origin story. And he was doing auctions for probably about 6 months before I started doing auctions. And when at that time, he was really the only one on Instagram doing it, comic wise. Maybe one or two other people. I can't really remember. It was a while ago, but he was like the one. And it was every Saturday night at midnight Eastern. So I'd have to stay up until midnight to jump on this mofo's auction so that I could just hang out. And he made it such like a relaxing, cool experience where he had like jazz music playing. And like it was never more than 20 people in there. Like we were just chilling. We all recognized each other week to week and had fun bidding against each other to get some cool books. And he had some cool books.
Yeah.
And we became friends over that time. I was buying from him maybe on like a bi-weekly basis.
Mhm.
And he was like, man, you should do your own thing. You're killing it with claim sales. And you should make do your own auction. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about going live, talking to people. I was like, I'm not, that entertaining or whatever. I feel like it'd be kind of awkward. And he was like, no, just do it. He's like, have some beers and do it. I was like, I'll think about it. And so one day my car decided to just crap itself.
Damn.
And freaking transmission went down, the alternator went down, like everything just seemed to fail at once.
Right.
And I was like, all right, well, I need some money now. And he was like, he'll just do the auction. And it was on April 20th, 2 years ago. So we're coming up on the anniversary soon, but it was 420. Right. That's how I remember it.
Right.
And advertised it a little bit differently. I like went hardcore with posts and stuff saying what was going to be in the auction, which Justin had never really done. Had a pretty sweet top buyer prize that I showed off, which he had done top buyer prizes, but never really advertised them hardcore. So I go in and all of a sudden I have like 50 people in the room, and I'm like not expecting this at all. I was thinking like 10. I was like, dang, now I got to like hold the attention of 50 people on my first ever live auction. I don't know how this is going to happen, but I was over prepared. So it was really well. Now I just go and I'll just turn the thing on and grab a box and let's go. But like at the time I had to be super prepared.
Yeah.
But I tried to make it as fun as possible for everyone. I was like telling jokes and having a great time. Everyone was interacting, which was really cool. And just made the time go by. And guess what? I fixed my car the next day. I brought it to the shop, had all the money, and I was like, all right, sweet. Nice. And from at that point, Justin messaged me like the next day. He's like, you and I should team up for real. And I was like, let's do it. Let's, make this more of a partnership. Yep. And we ended up going to Heroes Con that summer and that's where we first met and ran our operation together. And from there, I mean, the rest is kind of history. I know it's crazy. It's coming up on 2 years of me doing live auctions, but that's it. We kind of exploded out of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't have I would have thought it was longer than that. I just feel like, from knowing you. But that's awesome. I love that story. And it's, that's another thing I should mention too about when you're doing these live streams is I love your humor. Your humor to me is I love that, you make it entertaining and fun and messing with people and, all that stuff. So, guys in the chat, if you haven't experienced the Comics for Cheap experience, you should definitely make sure that you're checking out his
it's funny because and then it became like Alexis started getting involved. She called herself the Peanut Gallery and she would just shout stuff at me.
That's what I remember. I would hear this in the background.
So she'd be screaming in the background. And then we always we try to play on people's names. So like No Good Comics, we like, oh, he's up to no good because he's good comics. So we just we like to play on everybody. And some people can't handle it. They leave very fast. Sure. And but a lot of people seem to have a good time when that's what it's all about. If we can have a good time. Because I like going into sales, it's trying to support people and everything, but when they're just kind of sitting there quiet, no music,
right?
Say, all right, here's this book. It's a little bit different. It's like, let's, pick up the pace a little bit. Let's, have some fun and make some comments about the books and everything.
Yep. Talk about it. Yeah. No, I think you definitely need to have that aspect of entertainment, from the person that's selling or whatever, just because otherwise it can get boring. But you created this kind of hangout, and that's what I like about it. And now that a lot of other people have been doing, all these, claim sales, I feel like I go into these rooms now almost more to hang out than I do necessarily to buy books.
Sure.
Me personally, but I love the general experience. I want to say hello to Joker, my man Joker in the house. He's going to be my guest next Saturday. So good to see you, my friend.
Sweet.
So all right, let's I want one more question and then we'll get into some fun stuff because I mean, this has all been fun, not that this is
and then we'll start having some fun.
Yeah,
gosh darn it.
Spruce it up, James, come on, man. So I always like to ask this question. It kind of is for those who are just getting involved with the community or just getting into the hobby in general. I feel like this hobby can be looked at as a little intimidating, sure. whether you are, reading books, buying books, selling books, whatever aspect you're going at this hobby is. Do you have any just general advice for someone that might be new to this hobby as a whole that you would give somebody?
Be patient. Books come and go all the time. There
Mm,
are books where I was like, I'm never gonna get that book, and I have 5 of them now.
mm,
And it's just like you just gotta wait it out.
yep.
Don't like the FOMO is real. I understand that fear of missing out. It's a real thing. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens to me. I'm like, oh, I need to get this book now.
Right.
But honestly, like if you're just patient with it and you go about it the right way, and that goes as far as if you're a seller too. Well, if you're patient and grow your business the correct way with a foundation instead of just trying to jump in hot and be like the next sensation or whatever it is, because you will for a second and then you'll fall off. Like I've seen it happen to so many people that where they're like oh my gosh, this person has 1 million keys in their first auction, that's fantastic, and then the second auction comes around, is like a little less and a little less, and they
Right.
realize, why am I losing money, or like this, that, because you're not buying the stuff the right way. You're going out, you're buying these keys probably close to the price, you're starting
Right.
them close to the price. So you gotta build that method. I built it off of dollar books. Don't be afraid to sit on the floor and dig through the bins that are on the floor. That's pretty much it. And just be
Part
patient,
of it.
man. Those books will come. You'll find it. You'll
Yep.
find the book. You'll find someone to buy a book from you. If you're, got the reasonable prices, you're always gonna be able to progress and move forward if you do it the correct way, I think.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's spot on. And again, that's from any angle. I think that advice hits home for anybody, because I feel like, when people get into this, sometimes they put this almost like created pressure on themselves. Like, I need to own all these books, or I need to, get this now before whatever. And like you mentioned, like people fearing of missing out and things like that. But I think that ultimately, I mean, I've seen it, you've seen it, books come and go
100%.
like nothing. And it's just so easy. I mean, the collection I have now, I never would have expected to have what I have. And I didn't necessarily just like start out by saying I need to have these particular books at this particular time.
Right.
I just kind of wrote it out as they came, or as the opportunity came.
Yes.
You can't
And
force it.
that's a big question that dealers will always hit me with, like, oh, well, what are you looking for? I don't know, man. Like, I let the books talk to me. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like, when I'm going through the bins, I'm like, oh, maybe I do want something like this, or
Yeah.
they're always like, oh, what else can I get for you, or what are you looking for? I'm like, I don't know, man. Let me see what you have for a second, and like, let me just see. Because if I tell them, then it's gonna be like, you're getting into negotiations or whatever. I'm telling them I'm looking for an ASM 129. Oh, I got an
Right.
ASM 129 right here.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, now they're not going to budge even for a second off of their price, because they know you're looking for it, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so it is a little different. You got to go into buying with a little bit of an open mind. Obviously, it is good to have a list. When I was, working full time and doing the comics, I felt like I was buying a Grail almost every other week, because I had a list of what I was looking for, and then it's just the opportunity arose at the right time when you're cash heavy, and it's like, okay, well, that's a good investment. So we rolled off of that, but then you'll be like, looking for a book, and maybe it's not a good time. Like right now, I don't even know I guess all the Captain America books, right? Let's just say all the Falcon related keys, and US Agent. So obviously right now is not a great time to be looking for that book. But guess what? West Coast Avengers 45 dropped from its $200 king of the 2 weeks down to it's a $50 book again. It was a surprise. And before that, it was like 20. So if you had just waited and been patient, now you could probably get a copy for 40, 50 bucks instead of $200 at the peak, which it's funny to say that and also be like a seller and be like, I'd love for you to buy it at $200, but also like keep in mind in a couple of weeks, it probably won't be $200.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all part of the game of, it's almost like stocks or anything else, right? It's like, knowing when to buy or knowing the right time to do that, and really taking the shot at doing it at the right time or not, but I think it's great that it is coming from someone like you who is on both sides of this.
Because a lot of people don't look at me as a collector, which is funny.
Yeah.
Because I have a huge collection of stuff that I'm like, Justin gives me crap all the time about not selling stuff. And so when I did this big sale recently, and I was just kind of clearing some stuff out, he's like, man, I've never seen you sell your big books or bigger books like that, like some of your bigger raws. And I was like, yeah, well, I just had to make room for even bigger, raw books coming in. But yeah, no, I love adding stuff to my personal collection, and even slabs or raw books. And I'm always looking, and it's just people will be like, oh, he's just a seller. Oh, he just flips dollar books all the time. No, man. Like out there looking for books just like
Yeah.
you. So
You have a PC. You have a
yes,
personal collection. Yeah.
yes.
Nah, that's funny. I see. We got Flash by Night in the house. What's up, Flash? Good to see you, my friend. So very cool. I think it's great advice. Like you're saying, James, is ultimately to stay patient, and really patience is key for a lot of things in life. So I think that could be applied across the board in a way. So with that being said, let's jump. I want to do a little bit of the rapid questions here as we're wrapping up. Again, everybody who's been watching, hanging out, thank you so much for taking the time. Make sure that you are following James Comics for Cheap on Instagram and YouTube, as his information is in the description below. So with these rapid questions, James, I didn't prepare you in any way. I'm going to just hit you with some of these questions.
Okay.
Some of them are comic book related. Some of them are not comic book related because we want to get to know a little bit more about you as well as an individual. So all fun stuff, all about you. No hard questions, I promise.
Okay.
So
what
we already
is your opinion on the policy,
yeah.
foreign policy? What?
Answer it now, damn it. All right, so I think you already answered this, but who's your if you had to choose one, your number one favorite character of all time?
Spider-Man.
What about villain?
Ooh, Doctor Doom.
Oh, nice. Okay, like Doctor Doom. If you could have one superpower yourself, what would it be?
Deadpool's regenerative.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. Now he deals with the pain still, right? He still
he still deals with the pain, but and he has to outlive civilization. But I'd still do it.
You'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite artist of all time?
That would have to be Kirby.
Okay. What was the last comic book you recently read?
The last one I read was Legend of the Blue Marvel, the 1 through 5, I guess, as a sit down read.
Series, nice. What about if you could? All right, so if you could go back in time and buy one comic book off the shelf for cover price, and you were not allowed to sell this book, this was just a PC book for the rest of your life.
Okay.
What book would you go back to travel to buy?
Amazing Fantasy 15.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
kind of had yeah.
It's just that that would be the book.
It's your man. It makes sense. All right. What about so let's mix it up here a little bit. Talk some non-comic book related stuff.
Okay.
Where do you stand with music? What's your favorite genre, and what's like some of your favorite bands right now or artists that you're listening to?
Oh man, I really don't listen to too much modern stuff, but like hip hop and hard rock is where I've been at since high school. So it's favorite. I don't even know, dude. I just listen to a lot of stuff.
Do you use
this is not very rapid, huh?
Do you use like Spotify or anything like that? Or,
yeah, pretty much like Spotify or YouTube Music. Yeah, and just kind of let it go. Right. I don't know. One of my favorite bands for a while was Dream Theater.
Oh, dude. Oh man, I love Dream Theater.
Yeah, so they had that like 6 Degrees of Separation album was one of my favorite albums of like all time. Right. But yeah, other than that, I've never really had like, oh, this is my favorite band or like this is my favorite hip hop artist or anything like that.
Sure. No, that's cool though. Dream Theater. It's cool that you bring up Dream Theater. I haven't had anyone bring that up, and I actually just haven't talked about Dream Theater in a long time. But I love their stuff. Love that you can like vibe out to them. They're like their songs are like 13 minutes long sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Like that symphony one. It was like a 35-minute whole thing. Yeah.
I remember my uncle telling me a story where he's like listening to the radio, and the radio station guy would be like, "All right, guys, I need to go use a bathroom break, so I'm going to put on some Dream Theater. I'll be back."
He had some bad Taco Bell. I'm going to put on some Dream Theater. I'll take care of you.
Yeah. Exactly. Where do you stand with sports? Are you a sports guy? And if you are, who's your favorite team?
I love hockey and football. And my favorite hockey team is the New York Rangers. My favorite football team is going to be the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, okay. What makes you like the Rangers up in New York?
My parents are both New York. So I was conceived in New York, and then I was born in Florida. Nice. But yeah, Brooklyn. And so my dad is a huge all New York sports fan. And so the Rangers carried over because I played hockey growing up until I was through high school. Yeah. And then I was too skinny, so I started getting hurt. So I was like, probably not the best route for me. But yeah, no, hockey, Rangers, football, Panthers.
Nice. And let me just note real quick. No one can tell because we're sitting, in front of a camera at the same size height. But you are extremely tall. Is that right?
I am extremely tall. I am 6'6" and
Oh, shoot.
220 pounds. So I'm like a stick, like Jack Skellington. That's pretty much exactly what I look like when I'm walking around. I even
Wow.
sing the songs. I'm like, what's this? What's this?
Yeah.
When I'm going through the comic boxes.
Oh my gosh, you have like a foot on me, man. That's wild. I saw a recent picture of you. I'm like, damn, either that guy's really short or he's really tall, or maybe it's a combination of the two.
Yes, exactly. Yes. I just only hang out with short people to make
Yeah, there you go.
myself look
There
even
you
taller.
I love it. I love it. All right, let's see. What about what's your favorite comic book film of all time?
Ooh. It's gonna be a tie. Into the Spider-Verse is one of my like all-time favorite
Yes.
movies, and then I think the Joker might
Okay.
be a up there,
Yeah.
and that one was just incredible as well. So those two would probably be my faves.
Love it. Love it. I love that Joker movie. I feel like we don't
Oh,
hear enough
so
about
good.
it now. What about this is a tough one. What about non-comic book related movie? What's your favorite movie of all time?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that was
So
really easy.
I'm
One of the most
ashamed.
inspirational stories of our generation.
I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed to say I haven't seen it. My girlfriend told me that I need to watch it.
It's like one of the most outrageously ludicrous movies that you'll ever watch,
Yeah.
but it's hilarious,
Yeah.
and there is like a positive message in there if
Okay.
you look past all the drug use
All
and debauchery that they get themselves into.
right. All right, last question for you here today, and then we'll wrap up. What if it was a Friday night? You have the house to yourself, you and your wife or your girlfriend,
Mhm.
and you when it comes down to dinner, whether you're ordering out, you're cooking, you're going somewhere.
Mm.
What's your go-to meal for just a Friday night meal dinner?
If I'm cooking, it's gonna probably be Italian related, chicken parm, eggplant parm, something like that.
Nice.
If we're ordering, it's probably going to be Hispanic related, so like
Ooh, yeah.
burritos, tacos,
Okay.
stuff like that. If we go pick up,
Nice, nice. Do you like?
yeah.
Are you into spicy stuff or no?
I can handle a little bit. Alexis can do better than me, but I mean, I'm very
Yeah.
translucently white, so I can't handle too much of the spice. I try though, man. Like I try as much as I can.
That's good. That's
I
good. That's
always
good.
want to be. I almost bite off more I can chew. No pun intended. As far as the spice goes, and then I'll regret it later. Like
That's
2 hours later, I'm sitting on the toilet like,
You're
nah!
See, for me, I draw the line at ketchup. Ketchup's like that's the spice for me. So I am not a spice guy at all either. Well, dude, James, thank you so much for taking the time to do this whole thing with me. Before we go, I want to give you a little bit of a platform. Share with the people where they can find you. What do you have coming up? Some shows and things like that.
All right. So I'm on YouTube at Comics for Cheap. You can find me on Instagram, same thing at Comics for Cheap, just right here. And yeah, I think Justin and I might do. I just did a big sale, but Justin is going live on Wednesday. That's at Comic Talks, so I might hop on for that and sell some books that I just picked up today because I wasn't planning on buying stuff today, but you know how that works out. And then we're doing our big show April 11th, which is going to be a Sunday evening. We're doing Charlotte Comic Con, and that's where we're going to get together and do like one of our power auctions where we just go crazy. So that'll be a lot of fun. And Justin and I will be having a stream on my YouTube channel tonight talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier and
Nice.
just kind of chit chatting and talking, here and there about anything comic book related. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm in a little bit of a lull right now for sales and stuff because I just did a big one, but
Yeah.
that's
Nice.
where I'm at.
Awesome, dude. Well, again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me on here. I know it won't be the
Definitely.
last time that we collaborate. I look forward to
Yes,
doing more
for
with you
sure.
at some point. And everybody in the chat, guys, you were all awesome. We still got 12 people in here, so thank you guys for hanging out with us, sticking through, and make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you're following James. Put the information below. If you guys are taking the time to watch this replay, always appreciate the replay watchers out there. I know there's a lot of you, so appreciate you guys also. So yeah, again, James, thanks so much for being on, and we'll
Thank you.
time. Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Until then, we'll be back. I'll be back next Saturday, 2 o'clock, same time. I'll be with Joker. So looking forward to that. But until next time, you guys enjoy your Saturday, and we will talk to you later.